You drive these roads every single week. I-55, I-65, I-40, the most dangerous highways in Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee do not look any different from the ones you safely drove home on yesterday. No flashing warning lights, no signs that say this stretch kills more people than almost any other in the region. Today, I'm covering the corridors that show up again and again in serious crash data across our region. Stay until the end. One of them might be the road right outside your door. Let's start with I-65. Interstate 65 cuts through Alabama from the Tennessee state line down through Huntsville and Birmingham all the way to Mobile. It's one of the major freight corridors of the Southeast, and it's consistently one of the deadliest interstates in the whole state. Alabama's traffic fatality rate has been above the U.S. average, 1.35 versus 1.26 deaths per 100 million miles driven in 2023, according to the NHTSA. I-65 carries a significant share of that. The stretch between Birmingham and Huntsville is especially bad. Heavy freight traffic mixed with commuters, speed differentials between 18-wheelers and passenger cars, drivers on long hauls fighting fatigue. Here's the thing about interstate wrecks. When they happen at highway speeds, you're not talking about a fender bender. You're talking about serious injuries, spinal damage, brain injuries, fatalities. Families I've worked with that have had wrecks on I-65 came to me with real losses, lost income, surgeries, futures that changed in a moment. But this corridor has nothing on what comes next. Next up, Interstate 55. If you live in Mississippi, you know this road. It runs north and south through the center of the state, from the Tennessee border near South Haven, down through Jackson to the Louisiana line. And it is one of the most dangerous stretches of pavement in this entire region. Mississippi consistently ranks among the top states in the country for traffic fatality rates. The NHTSA data is consistent year after year, and I-55 carries a heavy share of those deaths. Here's why. Large portions of I-55 run through rural areas. If something goes wrong, help is not right around the corner. In rural Mississippi, EMS response times are significantly longer. NHTSA data shows average running roughly 9 minutes in metro areas compared to 14 plus minutes in rural areas, and higher in the most remote stretches. That gap costs lives every day. The difference between a serious injury and a fatality can come down to how fast the help arrives. The Jackson Metro Corridor adds a different problem. High volume, merges, commercial trucks traveling next to commuters, fatigue, distraction. It's a rough combination. This corridor is dangerous. The next one is the road you may not even think twice about, and this one covers 2 roads. Interstate 40 through Tennessee is one of the busiest freight corridors in the entire country. Memphis to Nashville to Knoxville and beyond, Tennessee's rural interstate fatality rate is among the highest in the Southeast, and I-40 accounts for a major piece of that. Heavy truck volume alone, long stretches of highway, fatigued drivers, the kind of conditions where a moment of inattention becomes a fatal wreck. Then there's I-22 and US 78. If you're from North Mississippi or Northeast Alabama, you know this route. It connects Tupelo to Birmingham through a mix of interstate and 2-lane highway. Freight trucks, local traffic, tight curves and sections, communities that depend on this corridor every single day. My office is in Tupelo. I see the cases that come out of these roads, folks from car rent, folks from Muscle Shoals, families who travel the same route for years without a problem, until one day they did. I-40 and the US 78 corridor belong on the list because the volume and the rural conditions combine in the worst way possible. So here's what all 3 of these corridors share. When a wreck happens at highway speed on a rural stretch with a long EMS response time, the injuries are serious. And serious injuries mean the legal case is complicated. Trucking companies have their own legal teams. Insurance adjusters start building their file before you even leave the hospital. They're not going to call to help you. They're going to call to protect themselves. If you're hurt on any one of these roads, you have rights, and you have a limited window to protect those rights. Evidence starts disappearing fast. Witness memories, black box data on trucks, camera footage from the nearby businesses. That evidence does not wait for you to figure out what happened. Don't let the other side build their case while you are still in the hospital. The next video covers the 5 biggest mistakes people make after a wreck on exactly these kinds of roads. Most folks make at least one of them without even realizing it. Watch that one now. It could be the difference between a fair recovery and walking away with nothing. I'll see you over there.